A very good morning to you all, dear student. But before we start with our class, I would like to thank all of you personally for your warm wishes and your prayer. So today we are going to start with uh, the new topic, okay? That is modern period. So the topic of our discussion for today is British colonization. So we are going to learn about British colonization today. So let's get started. So our aim for today is students will be able to understand how the Nagas came under British colonization. Alright, and the resources required for our class is notebook and your Nagaland textbook. So first of all, what is colonization? Alright, so question here is, what is colonization? Or what do you mean by colonization? Okay, students, so in simple meaning of the term, alright, colonization means setting up a colony, alright, or an area which is occupied by a foreign invaders, alright. So that is colonization. Okay, so I'm repeating, please keep that in mind. Okay, so colonization means setting up a colony. All right, colonization means the process of establishing a colony, or the process of colonizing or taking over, that is known as colonization. Okay, so this is about a British colonization and the restructuring of Naga polity. Okay, so all these are book, all right, books on British colonization. Okay, if you want to know more about colonization, you can get this textbook. Okay, that is written by Nivetso. All right, so you might find in a bookstall, so you can always go through that. And this is a picture of a British, okay, and between the Nagas. Now question here is, how did British colonization started in India, in Nagaland, sorry, in Nagaland. How did British colonization started in Nagaland? Okay, so first of all, it started in the 19th century. Okay, so in 19th century, the Great Britain, they had become the most powerful nation in the world. Alright, that is in 19th century, the British, they became the most powerful nation in the world. So there was a saying that the sun actually never set for the British Empire. Okay, so the empire had touched the highest magnitude, that is particularly in terms of territorial expansion and exploitation of resources. And for the main reason why they came to India was also to exploit natural resources. Okay, so it was in this period of British power that they even came to colonize Nagaland. Alright, to occupy Naga territory. Okay, so it was in 1832 that the two British captains, that is Francis Jenkins and R.B. Pemberton, they have traveled through Angami territory, alright, with a party of over 700 soldiers and 800 coolies. Alright, that is in search of a route between Manipur and Assam. Okay, so that is how it all started. Now, the five major factors that has influenced the British government in the colonization of Nagaland are, you will even find in your textbook, yeah, in page number 7. So you will see that there were actually five major factors, okay, that has influenced the British government in the colonization of Nagaland. Point number 1 is, the British, they came to India mainly for economic reason. Okay, remember, they came to India for economic reason, okay, to build up their economy. So they established a flourishing trade with many parts of India. So in the northeast of India, they discovered tea in the year 1823, coal and petroleum in the year 1825. Alright, so it was discovered by British. Okay, even the tea as well as the coal and petroleum, they are first discovered by the Britishers, okay, in India. So this discovery of natural resources arose British commercial interest in the area, that is in terms of Northeast India. Okay, and point number 2 is that the British government was very concerned, that is about the safety and security of the northeast frontiers. So in this regard, they wanted to control over the Himalayan territories, alright, that is from Tibet to Myanmar. And even the Naga hills, they lay on the southern side of the Himalayan watershed. Okay, therefore the British, they wanted to have control over the Naga hills as well. And point number 3, the Nagas, they frequently raided the plains of Assam. So the British, they wanted to stop these raids. Alright, so they adopted a policy of sending military expedition to the Naga areas. Okay, and point number 4 is all about the British. They also needed, that is a direct route from Assam to Manipur. Alright, that is for developing trade relations with the Manipuris and for protecting their commercial interests in Upper Chachar, and also to guard against the Burmese intervention in Manipur. Okay, so for finding a route, another British colonization, another influence on the British government in the colonization was of Nagaland was also because of finding a direct route between Assam and Manipur. Okay, and lastly, point number 5 is the British authorities at Calcutta were reluctant to invade the Naga hills. Alright, because of its dense forest. Okay, in the past, Nagaland has a dense forest. Okay, and also because of bad communication, they actually don't want to invade Naga hills or Naga territories. But when the British came to know that the king of Manipur was in favor of extending his kingdom over the Naga tribes, so the British soon became cautious and alert. So this compelled the British to enter into the Nagas area, mainly to stop the king of Manipur from annexing the Naga territories. Okay, hope now you are clear. Okay, so now you also have to remember, okay, that there were many reasons apart from the 5 point, okay, where the British colonization started in Nagaland. So you will see that Mr. Grange, he led an expedition to investigate the cause of Naga raid and to punish the chief of Konoma and Mezoma village, okay, who had early invaded the British territories of Assam, because they were they were going to Assam and they were raiding their territories. Alright, they were taking their natural resources as well as they were raiding their okay the resources, okay, from Assam. Alright, because of that, the British government, in order to warn the Naga territory, or in order to warn the Naga people, they capture, okay, they capture the chief of Konoma and Mezoma village. Alright, for that purpose. So this expedition was not successful. At first, it was not successful. Alright, as he had underestimated the strength of the Nagas and was not properly equipped with troops and rations. Because of that, they were not able to occupy the Nagas at first, because they underestimate the strength of the Nagas. So Mr. Grange led another expedition into the Naga country, that is in the year 1840, and marched to Manipur through Dhansiri, okay, now Samagutin Chumukidima, and Pulwa, that is Polwa, Yangkukla, that is Chefma, and Mauklang, that is Tokwuma. Okay, so on the way back to Assam, he burned down 5 villages and captured 11 Nagas. All right. So in also in the year 1845, Captain John Butler, he was a principal assistant of Nagaland. All right, was deputed to the Naga Hills with a force. Okay, as he came with a friendly attitude, the Nagas, according to their cultural practices, presented him with ivory, clothes, and spears. But the British unfortunately interpreted this presence as a kind of tribute to their authority. So, after some mutual understanding, a road was opened to pass through Chumukidima. Alright, so a new stockade and godowns were erected at Dimapur. So a small market was also established at Chumukidima. Alright, and later on, Lieutenant Vincent, he invaded the Naga Hills again in the year 1849 and 1850. So with his superior weapon, he captured Mezoma and destroyed the strongest fort in the northeast at Konoma. Alright, Konoma is considered as one of the strongest fort in northeast India. Okay, so Lieutenant Vincent, he invaded the Naga Hill and defeated the people of Konoma. Okay, so he also fought against Kikruma, but his forces were eventually defeated and were forced to withdraw from the hills. So after the defeat, the British, they also adopted a policy of non-interference, and the British troops were directed to withdraw immediately from the hills. That is after they were defeated by the Kitruma village. Okay, but the Nagas, they never forget what the British had done to them. So they decided to take revenge, and throughout the 19th century, there was constant fighting. Alright, from 1854 to 1865, the Nagas, they attacked the British territory 19 times. And so, as many as 232 people were killed and wounded, and some of them they were carried off. So in the decade following the 1874, 6 villages were punished and 334 people were killed as revenge. Alright, so all this caused the British to decide to use their superior forces to annex the areas to their empire. So the British, they sent 10 expeditions to the Naga Hills. Okay, so this is all about how the colonization started in Naga Hills by the British. Now coming back to things to do. Question number 1. Okay, when did the British discover tea and petroleum? And who led an expedition to investigate the causes of Naga raids? And question number 3, who was John Butler? Question number 4, when was Naga Hills invaded? So all these questions, please find the answer and write it down into your notebook along with the question. Okay, thank you, take care and stay safe.